Most of the time we keep running from bad things and especially hitting the rock bottom. We keep running from our darkest days because we are not sure what we are going to do after or during. And we feel like the darkest days, that's the end of the world. Your failure, it's the end of everything. What if I tell you that actually the rock bottom that you're going to hit or you already hit is the solid ground to stand on, and it gives you the blueprint for real you, for authentic self. Let's picture this situation, school time, and it's the classics. You get a bad grade, happen to everyone, and you feel like that's the end of the world. You don't know what to do next. You feel that you're a total failure. You cannot achieve anything. You couldn't pass that stupid test. You couldn't write that stupid essay. And you want to punish yourself by doing something or not doing anything. We're not talking about being punished by your parents. We are talking about self-punishment in this case. And in the end, you study. And then you go to the test once again. And what happens? You pass it. After every rainy day, there is a sunshine. We feel that we are drowned in these darkest days, darkest moments, failures. Totally, we're swamped. But in fact, it's something that gives us the blueprint to work with. It helps us to understand what we've done wrong, what can we do better, and how to live better. Another example can be when you lose the job. You lose the job, you have to cut your budget, you have to spend less money on food, on entertainment, and then you start living a different life. I do hope you have your savings, which is important to have. It's the foundation, it's the safety pillow that you always have to have. It's the money in the mattress, let's call it in this way, for darkest days, to support yourself for some time. But the point is that even in that time, you can learn something about yourself. What is enough for you? Was it so necessary for you to buy that avocado every week? What if you just buy it once a month or maybe once in 2 months? What would change? Was it important for you to go to the restaurants every weekend? Or apparently you found out the passion in cooking and you realize that actually homemade food tastes better and it gives you more pleasure of doing it. But in fact, you realize that you are getting freedom, freedom of this swamp of choices. You don't need this versatility of choices. You basically have what you need to enjoy the moment. What about the training? Let's talk about the training. You get the same situation. You're hitting the rock bottom with your training. You cannot gain, I don't know, muscles. You cannot gain the pull-ups. You cannot do more than 5 and so on. And you still keep going to the gym doing this heavy complex exercise, compound exercises. And then at home, you just start doing something practical and simple. You just wake up in the morning and you do few push-ups, then few pull-ups every day consequently. It's this freedom. It's a rock bottom as well. I'm not just talking about mentally when you just collapsing when somebody betrays you, for instance. But on the other hand, if you reach the rock bottom in your relationship, it's the perfect moment for you to think about yourself. What have you done? Maybe wrong, maybe differently. What could have you done wrong or differently at the same time? Was it a good relationship for you? Maybe your aims and values were not aligned well with yourself, not just with the partner we're talking here. At this point, being on a rock bottom, being on that solid ground, you can think clearly, you can detach, and you can start evaluating everything that happened. You can think, what do you want? How can you live further? And there is no shame in it. It's hard to talk when you're on the top, and it's hard to talk and compare, especially when you're on the rock bottom, because the feelings, emotional aspect of this is different. And clarity, basically, when you're on the rock bottom, there is no clarity. You feel like the world is against you. There is no tomorrow. Every day is dark, rainy, and you cannot enjoy it. You won't enjoy it ever. You need to detach. You need to put your emotions aside. And I'm telling you, like, if it's a grievance, then you can just put it for some time, yes, for a short period, and then you're like, okay, I grieved enough. Let's let's evaluate everything. Let's think about the situation and what's our protocol. How are we going to move forward? What am I doing for myself? Who am I? So you don't need to think about darkest days as something that completely breaks you. It breaks you in order to build you. You know, there is a good phrase I'd like to end this with. Even after a shipwreck, every sailor is craving to go back to the sea.